Okay, so today I will be presenting my passion project on plastic pollution. I can't find a way to talk while I'm reading it off a screen while you showing it, so you just have to follow along on the slide on your side. So okay, passion project, plastic pollution. Why is this my passion? Plastic pollution is my passion because of the way it is affecting our earth. I want to live a long, fruitful life, and the only way that we can do that is by taking care of our planet. Plastic pollution is just getting worse and worse, and we as a whole need to do something about it. Plastic pollution is now more severe than ever and is affecting our health, along with also affecting our environment. Eventually, if nothing is done about it, our world will be covered in plastics and be unlivable. Okay. How does plastic pollution affect our oceans? There is more plastic in the ocean now than there has ever been. It just keeps accumulating, and it won't stop unless we do something about it, we as a whole. There are over 12.7 million tons of plastic accumulating in the ocean every year. That is a huge amount of plastic, especially for it being every year. Soon it will be hundreds of millions of tons of plastic till there's no more ocean surface area left to cover. All of the plastics that end up in our oceans is one of the leading causes of marine animal deaths. There are over 100,000 marine animals dying every year, all because of plastics, and that number just seems to be increasing. Microplastics in our ocean damage the food availability for sea creatures, such as plastics getting entangled in food sources and being consumed, which obviously causes harm to the animal, or even creatures becoming entangled in the microplastics themselves. Coral reefs. Our coral reefs are being destroyed from all of the plastic that's getting caught up in the ocean. Eventually, there will no longer be any reefs. It's also destroying our ecosystems that sea mammals thrive in. How has plastic pollution gotten so severe? What has been done over the past decades that even made us get to this point where plastic is consuming our world? Global plastic production has skyrocketed from 2.3 million tons annually in the 1950s to over 400 million tons every year recently. Plastic is non-degradable, which means almost all of the plastic that has ever been created is still on this planet, polluting our earth and our bodies in the form of microplastics, while we just continue to make more and more. Almost half of all plastic made is made specifically for one-time use packaging and disposables. Why make something if you can't use it multiple times, just made to be thrown away? Plastic is insanely durable, cheap to make, which is why over the years the production has skyrocketed. Instead of making more plastic, why not just use the plastic that's already polluting our planet and recycle? What can we do to reduce plastic pollution? Even though plastic pollution is already very severe, there are ways we can slowly reverse the damage and try to take care of our planet. To reduce plastic pollution, we can start ditching single-use items such as plastic water bottles, takeout utensils, and plastic bags. Instead of using things that are made out of plastic, we can start using paper bags, things packaged in glass bottles, aluminum, etc. We can also start recycling items in the correct places, along with putting compost in the compost bins. Plastic inside of our bodies. As plastic breaks down, it breaks down into microplastics. These microplastics have already been invading our food, our blood, our bodies, everything. Since plastic never really completely breaks down, and when it does, it takes years and years, the tiny microplastics are invading our bodies and damaging our health. Traces of microplastics have already been found in various blood sources. A quote that I took from an article: "There are microplastics in the food we eat, the water we drink, the clothes we wear, and the air we breathe." That really shows how consumed our world is in plastic. Another quote that I have: "Plastic never goes away. It just breaks down into finer particles." And then scientists have estimated that adults ingest the equivalent of 1 credit card per week in microplastics. A credit card. Studies in animal and human cells suggest microplastic exposure could be linked to many health problems. What will happen in our future if we continue like this and don't make any changes? As we keep on polluting our earth with plastic, if we don't stop this, eventually our future will be filled with plastics. In our mind, our body, at this point, even our soul. According to The Guardian, microplastics have been found in human blood, breast milk, and even placentas, and are just getting worse. The production of plastic includes fossil fuels, which release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which is also contributing heavily to climate change, which is already a thing in itself, especially with the heavy amount of plastic that is being produced and will also be produced. Since the 1950s, there has been around 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic produced. In around 10 years from now, that number can increase by 2 times. My thesis statement. To wrap it up, plastic pollution is getting worse and worse, and we as a whole need to do something about it. Plastic pollution is now more severe than ever and is affecting our health along with also affecting our environment. Eventually, if nothing is done about it, our world will be covered in plastics and be unlivable. Thank you.